Good evening, I'm Anna Kalczyńska and you're watching Ukraine Brief on TVP World. Today is day 1315 of Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine. Russian attacks across Ukraine over the past 24 hours killed at least 9 civilians and wounded at least 15, with Moscow launching 65 drones, of which Ukraine's Air Force reportedly intercepted 46. In Ukraine's northern Sumy region, a Russian drone deliberately struck a residential building in Krasnopilia, killing an entire family, a 35-year-old husband, his 26-year-old pregnant wife, and their 2 children, aged 6 and 4. The attack occurred around 2 a.m. local time, damaging houses on both sides of the street. Rescuers worked through the night to clear the rubble and recover the bodies.
Yes, she was saying they were expecting twins.
We had 2 direct strikes from Shahed drones. One hit an 8-apartment building and the other a 4-apartment building. Behind us was the apartment where the Lesnichenko family was killed, the father, mother and their 2 children. All the houses on both sides of the street were destroyed.
In a separate Russian attack on Myropilya, 1 woman was killed and a man was wounded, according to the local military administration. In the neighboring Kyiv region, the regional prosecutor's office reported that Russian forces used an FPV drone against a civilian area, wounding 1 person. In the Donetsk region, in Ukraine's east, Russian forces carried out more than 30 attacks on civilian areas over the past 24 hours, killing 3 people, 2 in Konstantinivka and 1 in Druzhivka, and wounding 7 more. In southern Kherson region, 1 person was killed and 4 others were wounded, according to the national police. In the Dnipro region, Russia attacked 2 communities, injuring 2 women. In the Chernihiv region, Russian drone strikes targeted energy infrastructure in the Nizhny district, leaving some 26,000 residents without power. Just a few hours ago, Russian forces attacked the city of Dnipro in central Ukraine, killing 1 person and injuring at least 20 others. The attack happened in the evening in the center of Dnipro as people were returning from work, the busiest time in the city. According to local authorities, at least 20 people were injured by shrapnel. Most were hospitalized and 1 person in critical condition later died, officials confirmed.
I heard the sound of a Shahed drone falling, and then there was an explosion. The windows were blown out, the doors too, and people ran to the shelter. I saw someone injured there. It was terrifying.
Olena described the attack as shocking.
They flew 1, 2, 3, 4. Without counting, everyone fell down. We crawled into the bomb shelter and helped to carry people.
Around 20 cars and more than 15 buildings were damaged in the drone attack. Emergency services continue working at the scene. President of the European Commission Ursula von der Leyen has suggested that frozen Russian assets could be used to finance the strengthening of Europe's defense industry. The budget worth €2 billion will sustain Ukrainian drone needs.
If we continue to believe that Ukraine is our first line of defense, we have to step up the military assistance to Ukraine. Therefore, concretely, we have agreed with Ukraine that a total of €2 billion will be spent on drones now. This allows Ukraine to scale up and to use its full capacity, and of course it will also allow the European Union to benefit from this technology.
Europe will not only continue supporting Ukraine, but it's also ready to heavily invest in its own defense capabilities. This is the main takeaway from the Warsaw Security Forum held in the Polish capital.
Russia is already in war with NATO and EU. We should admit this. We, NATO and Europe, they are not in war, but we should admit that Russia is in war.
U.S. Special Envoy to Ukraine, Keith Kellogg, commented on the potential delivery of long-range Tomahawk missiles to Kyiv.
There has been no comment either yes, it's going to happen, or no, it's going to happen. The acknowledgement from, again, in the public reports is they were asked for. That is obviously something that has been picked up by the world press, obviously picked up by the Russians as well, simply because of the capability and the capacity of the weapon system.
Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov said on Tuesday that Moscow did not believe that Washington had taken a final decision on supplying Tomahawk cruise missiles to Ukraine. President Zelensky told news outlet Axios that he asked US President Donald Trump for an additional weapon system that could potentially force Vladimir Putin to enter peace talks. Lavrov added that it looked more like Washington was pressured into talks on additional weapons by Europe.
I believe this is primarily the result of European pressure on Washington, and Washington wants to show that it's taking its allies' views into account. I don't think we're dealing with the final decision yet.
US Vice President J.D. Vance said on Sunday that Washington was considering a Ukrainian request for Tomahawks. And we end with Turkish fishermen who found an unmanned naval drone in the Black Sea. It is assumed to be Ukrainian Magura V5, likely involved in last week's attacks on Russian oil infrastructure. Turkish fishermen have recovered what is believed to be a Ukrainian surface drone from the Black Sea, which may have been involved in the attack of Tuapse and Novorossiysk on September 24, an operation that paralyzed major oil export operations on the Black Sea coast. According to the Turkish state news agency, the drone was initially spotted by fishermen who thought it was a small fiberglass boat drifting about 800 meters offshore. And that's all in this Ukraine brief on TVP World. But for more news, updates and commentaries, please stay tuned and see you soon.